Hello, everyone. Welcome to All Things. My name is Charles, and Nidia is with me. We today will be talking about fasting. We'll be talking about our experiences with fasting, exploring a little bit what we've learned. And if you have questions along the way, feel free to ask them, and we'll try to answer them the best we can. Nidia, did you want to kick off, or do you want me to start off?
You can go ahead and start.
So I guess after we started with our diet, as far as changing from eating meats, uh, and we started having such a great experience from it, we started exploring more about fasting. And so when we start looking at fasting over the last few years, we learned that there was a lot of medical benefits from fasting. Some people will tell you that nowadays they're using fasting to help with cancer issues, diabetic issues, and a lot of different things. What they found is fasting resets the body, and it for some reason, when you start doing a longer period of fasting, the body starts to kick in to rejuvenate itself or to repair itself. It does like a cleansing through the body, and it does a lot of interesting effects on the body. So it kind of ties back in with the vegetarian or vegan lifestyle, getting rid of the meats out of your diet, and it takes it one step further to help get the body back into its normal routine of what it should be doing at any given age. For me, I know I start with the first time we start fasting. It was definitely a change. We started fasting once a week, and that was a little tough of a challenge. And I know Nydia took a deeper plunge of fasting than I did at first, and then I went second and took a deep plunge. And I will tell you, the benefits from that fasting was very interesting, amazing for me. I found that I was able to kick soda, caffeine. I had a hard time. I was drinking anywhere from 6 cans of soda to 12 cans of soda a day. And I was doing that for probably the last 20 years. And, and from fasting, I went ahead and, after doing my fasting, I was able to give up all soda. And that was very interesting. And now I can't really stand the taste of the soda. So that was a great benefit. I knew if I stayed fasting, I went on a 3-day fast in darkness with complete quietness, and I know if I stayed fasting for a couple more days, I would have probably given up smoking and some other bad habits. And I'm looking forward to attempting to do fasting again because of realizing the health benefits and the psychological benefits from fasting. And so it's a very interesting process. Nydia, did you want to explain about your fasting experience?
Yeah, first and foremost, we are just talking about our experience. So if you are really interested in fasting, before you do anything, please do your research. I read up on some books before I plunged into it because I was actually confused with fasting. I just thought it was going to be simple, and it is simple. But there are many ways to fast. That's what I did find out. Right now, they have, which is old too. I guess they call it intermittent fasting, which is kind of like a pattern. But I just did regular fasting for myself. And, I just wanted to make sure that I read up on it and before I started because I wasn't too sure what was going to happen. And you hear different things about, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. That's bad for you. But we had actually did research and we were finding out that there's a lot of benefits. It really does reset your body. and it depends on how far you go and things like that. So first and foremost, please talk to your doctor. If you're going to do anything like that, read up on it. You know, especially if you're on medication. I know there's concerns with that. And there are some things that you shouldn't fast while you're on, and some things are obvious, like if you're pregnant, or if you're underweight, or if also if you're under the age of 18, you really shouldn't. You know, you should be an adult. Your body should be full grown. That's what I think. I mean, and I think if you read up on it, that's what a lot of people, you know, you should be a full grown adult to make those decisions and to do that kind of thing. But yeah, my first experience, I took it slow. I decided to do 1 day of fast, and I did it for the first time in my life after so many years. And I had heard, because through my religion, we I had heard, you know, it's a good cleansing. It's good for your cleansing. You know, and I really didn't understand it when I was younger, and I was like, I don't want to do that. It seems too hard. I don't want to do that. But the more, you know, like I said, the more you investigate into it and the more you find out, especially when you reach our age. I mean, I'm already 50 years old. I'm not in the height of my, you know, age. I'm in the decline. So um, I'm just trying to stay healthy, healthy, at least healthy enough that when I get old, I'm not completely relying on other people for my health issues. But I did 1 day of fast, and that was great. And I think when I did my 2 day fast, I didn't, I think it was my 2 day fast. I didn't succeed, right, Charlie? I think it was my 2 day fast. I messed up on it or did something. And
Yeah, I can't remember on the 2 day fast. I know the 3 day fast you had no issues with.
yeah, I think the 2 day fast, something happened. And I think I was, oh, that's what I did. I fasted the first day, and I think the second day I forgot that I was fasting, and then I ate something, so I broke it. But that was okay, because then I was, um, then I just let that. Then I just said, forget it. I'll just go ahead and eat, and then I went ahead and did it again, tried it again. Then I succeeded, and the 2 day fast was harder than the 3 day fast for me. And I was scared. I was scared to do the 3 day fast because the 2 day fast was hard. And but I got more benefits out of the 3 day fast than the 2 day fast. Um, I had really bad cravings with sugar. I still have bad cravings with sugar. It's just not as bad anymore. That is one of my, probably my worst addictions, is the sugar. And I'm still learning how to work with it, and I'm still trying to, um, you know, um, better myself and get out of the sugar. But I just love candy, and I love just sweets, dessert. But
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's amazing with the fasting how it points out these issues you have because of I didn't realize how addicted I was to the sugars until after I came off the 3 day fast and I stopped drinking the soda. And so we both had this in common. And just in the last month or two, have we really started isolating down just how bad my addiction to sugar was. From the soda and everything kind of masked it, and it made it look like, because I wasn't eating candy or all the other garbages that Nidia was eating, but because of all the soda I was drinking, I was getting probably more sugar than she was, or equal amounts of sugar. So it's kind of interesting when you point out about the sugar. And
yeah, I think that's been my hardest thing to kick. But when I did the 3 day fast, what happened was I was having cravings every day. for the sugar. Now I still get cravings for the sugar, but it's not every day. And I'm just learning to work with it, and I will also, because I liked it and I enjoyed it, I will go through another fast, um, or try it at least for the summer again and see what happens. I there's something that really you can feel it in your body, and I think that's what I liked about it. You know, uh, you really don't think that it's going to do anything, but it does. So that
Yeah.
was amazing. And I'm glad I encouraged you, because that finally kicked your
Yeah.
Coca-Cola habit. So if anything, that I think you saw how it changed me, and I think that inspired you to kind of say, hey, maybe this could work for me too. And that's
I,
why we're sharing it with everybody else.
yeah. I think, like before I wanted to do it, but I think I was a little scared just, and watching you go through it, it just kind of told me, hey, I can do it too. It's not a big issue. And yeah, because it was interesting when I was watching Nydia go through the fasting. She thought at times like she was just out of it a little bit, and I will tell you, yeah, for me, I had a little bit of that with the head, head being feeling like uh, not quite a headache, but like a hunger ache for the first, by the second day. By the third day, it kind of started slowing down. That hunger, that desire for food, it wasn't as strong, but you could still tell that it plays a little bit of effect on you.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. And there is a couple of websites I do want to mention. One is healthpromoting.com. Uh, we'll go ahead and Charles, I guess after this, I'll give you the links. So
If you look over where it says post comment, you can paste in the hyperlink in there.
on the hyperlink in there. Okay, let me see.
Yeah. While she's doing that, I'll read. This lady did 11-day fast, and she kind of did what I did, which was I went into complete darkness, but uh, she did a component of what I did. She did her fasting a lot longer. Um, Basically, there's two different reasons to fast. There's spiritual fasting, and then there's just the health fasting. Spiritual fasting, normally you close yourself off from all communications with everyone, no television, no electronic devices, no forms of communication, whether it's radio or anything. And so you kind of lock yourself down from being around people. And the lady goes, I'll quote her on her article here, and I've pasted this up in there and sent out the article, the webpage. It goes, deep knowledge. I was in constant meditation as I fasted. This gave me a higher sense of spirituality. Picture, places, visions kept flashing before me. There was a sense of deep knowing that stayed with me. Only day 5, I was suddenly gifted with a clear strategy, high inclination, and definite sense of belonging for my life. I suddenly knew what to do and how. I had a higher level of consciousness and found sense of identity, who I am and whose I was, or who I was. I felt like a map was laid clearly before me. Everything made sense. And I agree. That's part of the reason why I wanted to do fasting, was because of reading so much on spirituality, going through my transpersonal psychology degree. I've been reading a lot about fasting on spirituality and how it's played a major impact on clarity and opening people up towards their own spiritual journey. So it was something that I definitely wanted to experience, and I'm glad that I got to take part on a small level. And I'm hoping that this year I'll get to take a larger step in that level of going, because I wouldn't mind doing. At some point in time, I want to go up to 14 days, but I'm kind of baby stepping towards 14 days, and so that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Nidia, what's
Wait,
your
what do you mean?
feelings?
Wait, what do you mean? You don't want to do the Lent? The Lent, really, for Christianity, Lent, which is 40 days of fasting?
Not yet. I want to. I wouldn't mind trying to get there, but I don't think I'm ready for that deep plunge yet.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty tense there.
yeah,
But people
and
do it. People do it.
yeah,
40 days of fasting, you know, under Lent. Um, that's amazing. I do want to share something that you mentioned about spirituality. In A lot of people do, because of fasting, it works well in combination with yoga, with meditation and deep breathing and things like that, and of course spirituality and things like that, like what you've gone through. So it does work in combination with all of that. So yeah, it's funny that you're mentioning it, and that's why we're mentioning it too, because it is it is a good way also to clean the body, you know. And I understand now why in religions, you know, it's a cleansing, you know. It makes sense. And we do, you know, we at least should do 1 day a year, which a lot of us don't do. You know, and that's why religions do it. You know, they do some type of fasting because it is good for your body and for your mind. There's and I did post up 2 links there. The first one is a health center. The second one is information on fasting, and it's a good website to find out about fasting. And like we said, you know, please, you know, do this with precaution. And you know, everybody's different, so you know, I think most of the time, you know, yourself. And also advice, you know, with your, you know, speak with your doctor about, you know, about this, especially if you're on medication. So that's very important. So I just want to mention that again, because it's, you know, it is something that you know, does it is pretty dramatic. And you know, get the information that you know, read up on it, and get the information you need. So
yeah. And I'll read a little bit. I'm posting up a YouTube video. The gentleman's name is Michael Klepper. He doesn't talk about fasting, but he talks about cleansing out the body. He went from a meat diet over to a vegan diet, and he has some interesting points. He's in the medical industry, and he's worked very heavily over a long period of time with people, and he's noticed a lot of issues from eating heavy meats over time. And what happens, he goes, basically meat reflects replications off DNA, so it harms our DNA and cell membranes, which was kind of interesting. It creates a salicylic acid, causes inflammation reaction. The endotoxin bacteria used to coat the meat. So I guess the meat industry puts a chemical on the meat, and it causes blood clots in our body, slow heartbeat, and causes allergies to most humans. And so he talks deeply about getting the body cleaned out. And people have turned around and they talk about when they start fasting from not eating, they get all that food out. And they say something happens within the 14 days of fasting medically, that the body gets cleaned and starts a rejuvenation process to help repair the body. It doesn't mean that you're going back to, if you're 50 years old, you're not going back to 18 years old, but the body will try to heal itself, and any healing power is better than none. And there, even now, a lot of medical professions are prescribing fasting for patients who have cancer before furthering any other treatment, because they're finding that when you fast for long periods, it starts to kill off the cancer cells in the body. Same thing with diabetes. It helps kick the body and gets it reset. And then a lot of times you can reduce down your medications for diabetes, or just change your diet from that point on. And some people can completely come off of diabetes. European studies have been doing a lot more fasting treatments as far as to help with medical issues for a lot longer than the US has. And we're kind of behind the game of understanding the full benefits of fasting. And it's just now starting to get out into the full population as far as the benefits of fasting, and the medical profession is just starting to use it, compared to where European doctors have been studying using fasting for a much longer period of time than the American doctors have.
Yeah, which is really nice. And I think the that first website, they actually also they certify doctors to practice this with other people. So, but it's a good center. This guy had the gentleman or doctor that has been doing this. He's been doing it for a long time, and he's located in California. And he knows quite a bit about fasting. So, always make sure you touch up with people, and also read up what people are doing. And I think talking about what you were saying is that a lot of times in the past, people believed also that when you were sick, you shouldn't be feeding the body, that fasting was a way to kind of clean yourself, which again, we're going back to the cleaning. But it's interesting how some of this information from a long time ago is coming back. We're hearing how beneficial the stuff is. So
it's a big difference. I agree. For thousands of years, they've been talking about fasting and religion and cleansing, cleansing the internal body. And they don't tell us, medically, what are all the benefits from it, but they're telling us it's part of a spiritual journey. And now we're figuring out, and we understand all the medical benefits. And that to me is quite amazing when you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I turn around and tell people sometimes, if it's been done for thousands of years, maybe it works. And that's what we're starting to discover, is a lot of the stuff, we are naive about just how powerful some of these aspects are.
Yeah, because this goes back to Socrates. I think, what is it? Socrates, Plato, and all of them used to fast, the Greeks. So they that was in their daily, I guess, routine to do this type of thing. And for some reason we've left it behind, and now it's it's showing benefits in many ways. It clears the mind, your body kind of resets itself. So it's very interesting.
And what we discovered is, when you do these long periods of fasting, a lot of people talk about that your body starts to relinquish. You start to have bowel movements of the fat that's stored in your body. It starts to come out of your body. And that's kind of interesting, because of what kind of led me to this was a few people were talking about their bowel movements that they were just having fat come out, liquid fat. And the Michael Klepper, and I put his YouTube video up, he talks about the excess of fat that's stored in the body from eating the meats, and it, that it's attaching itself to the body. And then when we're fasting, that for long periods, it's actually the body is starting to remove out the meats. And this is part of that cleansing, why you have to do these longer periods of fasting, because if we're meat eaters, and then it takes a longer period for that body to start really breaking down and clearing out. And I know for sure myself, I need to do that longer period of fasting, realizing that my body is still carrying around some of that fat and garbage over the years from all those years that I was eating meats and not a plant-based diet. And so I know that there's still some work to be done physically to get my body in a much better state than what it is.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I want to do it again, because I just see the benefits of it and the way my body felt. It felt good afterwards. It's tough going through it, but when you get through it, it's not too bad. And I did a combination of just water at times, and then water and tea. So and people do different things with fasting. Again, some people will drink soup, or but then again, like I said, read up what you want to do, and your body will kind of tell you anyways, um, you know what's going on. And you know uh, pay attention to your body and what it's telling you, and pay attention to the professionals. And uh, what we're just sharing is our experience and how we enjoyed it, and we hope that this information can help someone. And you know I don't know, it's little steps, along the way. And you know we wish you luck, you
Yeah.
know
And I'll share one other thing that I picked up from a website. So if you're thinking about doing fasting, a few people, and this isn't the first time I heard this, people say to do a body detox as you're going into the fasting to help it. So one person left a recipe: 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 glass of water, 2 spoons of maple syrup, mix it together and drink it. It's supposed to be a detoxing agent for your body, and they recommend doing it right before you go into a fast to help get your body cleaned out. And so the person who recommended this does a 7-day fast once a year, and hopefully that might help someone who's interested. And then I watched today, as a refreshment, I watched one young man who did a 55-day fast of just water. He lost, I think it was like 40 something pounds. And that was quite interesting. What I did find interesting, though, he didn't have this spiritual experience. And I think it's because he was still tied in with people, communicating with people, watching TV and doing normal activities, not being locked down. And so I would highly suggest, if you're thinking about doing a long period of fasting, try the quietness. People overlook the beauty of the quietness and spending time with your own self. And it can, people get afraid of being with themselves, and I don't understand why. There's something beautiful in it.
But he might not have, it's all your intention on what you want to do.
Right.
So he might not have been looking for that.
Yeah, he was not looking for it. I was just pointing out the differences between people who are fasting, doing the quietness fasting, and then people who are doing the non-quietness fasting, as far as have not having those experiences or that enlightened moment. And so it really does depend on how you're doing your fasting, and what you're doing is what I'm finding out is what's going to cause the reaction of how your body will react.
Yeah, and like I said, there's many ways you can fast. So
Yes.
choose, you there's many ways, so people choose what works for them, and
Yeah.
that's fine because we're all different.
Yes.
So we just need to choose what works for us.
Yeah. And then, and then, by the way, there's also what's called intermittent fasting that seems to be real popular right now, where you fast 1 or 2 days a week, and the rest of the time you eat your normal diet. Some people are doing intermittent fasting as far as not eating in a given amount of time, and a lot of in religion, especially in the Hinduist faith, they talk about or Buddhist faith, they'll tell you to eat between a certain window of time and then let your body rest, because of what will happen is if you're constantly eating, or if your body doesn't get at least 8 to 12 hours of rest in between there, your organs are always working, so they don't really get a break, and your body needs a break. Just kind of like when you go to exercise and you're picking up weights real heavy, or you're running real heavy, your body's sore afterwards. You have to take a break. Your body kind of needs to do the same thing when it's eating. It needs to take a break in there, and you need to give your body the rest it deserves. And a lot of people seem to take advantage of the mind and the body internally as far as eating and stuff, not realizing that the mind needs a break, the body's internal organs need a break from processing food through the body. We give the external body, because we can feel it so quickly from doing a heavy exercise, running, walking, lifting weights, whatever it is. You feel the impact and you're like, oh boy, I'm tired. I'm going to go sit down and rest. Or no, I'm not going to pick up any more weights or go run anymore today. But we don't do that with the internal body. And I find that very interesting that we miss that disconnect, as far as that we can't, because we can't see it, we don't bother treating it with the same respect that we do with the external
I
portion of the body.
I think we do see it, we just ignore it because when you're getting diarrhea or you're constipated or you're throwing up, those are signs, you
Yeah.
know. So we sometimes do see it, and because it's not happening all the time, but even when you're getting, there's issues there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do
And
kind of see it, we just ignore it.
ignore it. And that's sad. We shouldn't ignore ourselves. And everything we're talking about is about living a better lifestyle, and being happier. It's funny when I'll tell you, I'm talking about happiness, being happy with yourself, but happiness isn't about always being excited or laughing. It's about just being at peace with yourself. So happiness, peace is just kind of, can I live with myself, and shouldn't I be treating myself better so I can go out and have as many adventures and experiences throughout life that's possible. And I think that's what we're primarily talking about when we talk about being vegan, spirituality, fasting. All these different little things of life make a major difference on how well or adequate you're going to be able to do those things, have those experiences. And so I think that's why I'm coming at it. What about you, Nidia?
There's like as I'm getting older, my body's kind of like knocking on my door
Yeah.
and telling me like, girl, you need to change because I can't keep up with you a little
Yeah.
bit. So yeah, it's been a work in process, and it
Yes.
takes time.
Yeah.
It's not a one day fix. It's a work in process, and yeah, my body's telling me, knock knock, please. stop your nonsense and, um, start taking care of yourself pretty much. And I have done a lot of damage, of course, because, I didn't eat very well, but, and I still don't eat very, very well, but I'm trying. And I think that's all we can do, you
Yeah.
know. But, we're just sharing a little bit of the information and passing it along.
No.
And hopefully it can help someone else, make them feel better, or, or maybe they can discover something else that, we just didn't know. So,
Right.
yeah, it's predominantly my body telling me,
Yeah.
and that I got to make changes. And I'm slowly working at it.
Which makes sense. And I'll tell you the biggest concern that you should have is if anyone's telling you no, don't do something, but your body is telling you yes, or internally something is, your gut is telling you to do it, do your homework. And because of all the voices out there in the crowd will tell you don't do things, that everyone has a reason why you shouldn't do something. And that's their fear telling you that you shouldn't do it because they're afraid to do it. So they don't want you to do it and they don't want to be alone. And I will tell you, any good positive change comes because internally something is telling you to do something to better your life. And you better listen to that voice before you start listening to the crowd's voice telling you not to do it. And go ahead.
Exactly. And I have always told, and you know that I've always told the girls that, our which is our children, um don't believe anything anybody says. Do your own research, find out for yourself, and you will discover for yourself what's, do you believe it? Do you not believe it? Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? Everybody's different. But at the end of the day, we have to make those choices for our life, because we have to be responsible for ourselves. So, definitely, um, you know, um, it's good to listen to others. Just listen to what they got to say. But at the end of the day, you know, I think we always tell everybody, do your research. And and now with the internet, it's a lot easier. But you do get a lot of information, so it's a lot to weed through. So that's
Yes.
another issue, that you do have to kind of weed through it. You have to read. And but when you want a change and when you want something, you go after it. So that's part of it.
Yes. I concur with that. And, I wish everyone well on their journeys of self-discovery. That's our primary focus, is self-discovery. And, when we were younger, no one told us about self-discovery. And I wish that, at a time that I had more knowledge about self-discovery, but I didn't have any Buddhist in my life. I didn't have any heavy religious people that were taught about self-discovery and the benefits of self-discovery.
You
And
probably had them, you just weren't ready for it.
I probably was not ready for it.
That's the way it is for all of us. They're
uh,
around us, we're just not ready to hear it.
yeah. And so it gets interesting. At a younger age, boy, you started on one path of running through your life because of because you had the body, the strength, the fortitude just to keep running, and then it's like one day you get smacked in the face, like the body can't do it anymore. You got to change your mindset. You can't keep doing this stuff. Open your eyes. You have to start relearning how to live, and there's an easier way to live life that's much more conducive for a longer life expectancy and still have all the wonderful benefits of the enjoyments of life. And you're sitting there going, no one teaches this until you get older or until you're looking for it because of things aren't going right for you. And that's the reason why I will tell you, do not listen to other people, Because if they were so smart, they would be living a better lifestyle. And you have to choose that for yourself, because no one's going to do it for you. And everyone's going to tell you the easiest way to live. And that may not be the best lifestyle or the most healthiest lifestyle. So I will say that much. And I know I've preached to a lot of people who have medical issues about, trying, just trying to do a little vegan, eat a little bit more greens, a little less meat. I'm not even telling them to stop eating meat, just a little less. And to do a little meditation, just basic things, and people can't do it.
Yeah,
And
but we've had some people that have, and
yes,
they're doing really good,
yeah,
so there are some little birds out there that do listen. So
listen,
it's all worth it at the end of
it
the
is.
day. So it's fine. Some
It's
people
fine.
listen, some people will not,
Not
and it, like I said, it all depends on when they're ready. So we just
yes.
gotta let it be. So, all right.
It's very true. It's very true. And anything else you find important that we need to clarify, talk about?
No, no. I think we've talked about what we needed to say.
Say
Like I say, with everything, especially when it comes to our eating habits and our health, always consult your doctor or talk to your doctor or anyone that is looking over your health. And also, make sure you just do your research. And I think we've stressed
yes,
that enough, because we're just talking from our experience and we're just trying to share what we have learned. And hopefully, it will benefit someone. It might not, but it's out there. So
yes.
thank you for listening.
Thank
Um,
you
yes, it's amazing. And thank you so much.
much. And hopefully we'll get back to Tuesdays next week. Every week we're going to bring out a new topic that we have experienced, and we're going to talk about it. We now understand how vital it is to live an open life, to share our experiences with people. Because of I always tell people this one little thing. I go, when I was 18 and my body stopped growing, I ran to the doctor. Doctor, what's going on with me? He laughed at me. He says, you just entered puberty, because males don't talk about things. When I hit 40, all the guys go, oh, don't worry, something interesting is going to happen. Like what? It was a big secret. The body changes, the mind keeps going. And so I ran back to the doctor, what's happening to me? He goes, son, you're just going through what they call the midlife crisis, which is the body slowing down and the mind's trying to readjust. You're fine. I went, okay, thank you. But when it comes to the female's body, everyone knows what menopause is. Everyone knows what females go through, but men do not like to talk about just common things that they're going to go through. And this really bothers me because, at some point in time, I want to stop running to the doctor to find out stupid questions, because no one's out there talking about life. And life isn't something that we hide. We go through things. Everyone goes through things. Things happen in life. And if we don't start communicating these things on a unselfish level of being afraid that, oh, I'm talking about my sex life, I'm talking about what I'm eating, I'm talking about how I'm trying to live, and then how are we supposed to know what is a good life, how to better our lives, how to open up to other people, and how not to be afraid to live a good life. And I'm tired of watching people live so sad. And me and Nidia came to terms quite a few years ago that enough was enough of not being happy and not being at peace with inside of ourselves. And everything in our relationship has been about opening up and deeply expressing ourselves to each other and explaining to other people what we're learning along the way, so that they don't have to live in such uncomfortable internal conditions, because that's where it really is, internal. So with everything being said, I know I said a mouthful. Nidia, you have anything else you want to say?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. We love you. We wish you the best. And discover about fasting. Go learn for yourself and try it out. I think you're going to find something major in it.
Bye.
Bye.